All right, so we've kind of individually talked about consumption and investment. We can bring them together. Maybe the easiest way to think about that is bringing them together as an example. All right, so let's think about aggregate expenditure. So we have aggregate expenditure in our really simplified model with no government and no foreign trade is equal to C plus I. We've modeled C as A plus B times YD. And we've modeled investment as just some constant there. And so if we plug those in, so maybe I'll put where here. If we plug those in, we get AE equals A plus BYD plus I0. Right, this is consumption here, and this is investment here. We're just plugging in our functional forms. All right, so let's think about what this looks like. Let's maybe do an example. Let's say that consumption, this functional form, equals 30 plus 0.8 times y. And let's think about investment being equal to 75. That's what I0 is. Well, that means our AE function is equal to 30 plus 0.8 times y. Remember, YD just equals y here because there's no taxes. Plus 75. So we can group this together, and we have AE equals 105 plus 0.8 times y. So here's our functional form. This is like the equation of a line, right? If we wanted to draw this out, it would look something like this. We could have AE, or desired aggregate expenditure, on the y-axis. We could have the actual amount on the x. And we can think of this relationship between the aggregate expenditure and the actual y. We have an intercept of 105, and we have a slope of 0.8. And this is our AE function. So think of this 105 as being autonomous aggregate expenditure. It's the amount of expenditure, desired aggregate expenditure, regardless of the value of y, right? Even if the actual y is 0, our autonomous amount that we're spending is 105. And the induced part is going to be the part that's due to this relationship between y and AE, which is going to be really kind of captured in this 0.8. So we're going to call the slope of this AE function as being equal to the marginal propensity to spend. MPS, again, this is different than marginal propensity to save, marginal propensity to spend. Marginal propensity to spend. This is the slope of the AE function. Right now, it's just equal to the marginal propensity to consume, right? Right now, those are the same thing because we have no other kind of induced aggregate expenditure. There's nothing else that's multiplied by y in our model. The only other two things we have is autonomous consumption and autonomous investment, right? And so right now, and again, this is only now, this is going to change. The marginal propensity to consume is equal to the marginal propensity to spend. But that's going to change next week, so that's not always going to be true. That's only true in our simplest version of this model. Okay, so this is what our graph for AE looks like. Next, we need to think about equilibrium. What's got to be true in equilibrium? And we can solve for equilibrium and think about changes.